हे गोपीचन वल्लभा गिरिवरदा हरि जय। गोपीचन वल्लभा गिरिवरदा हरि। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यमुनतीरावनचारि यमुनतीरावनचारि जय राधमाधवा कुञ्ज बिहारी। जय राधमाधवा कुञ्ज बिहारी जय। गोपीचन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय। गोपीचन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यमुनतीरावनचारि यमुनतीरावनचारि जय राधमाधवा कुञ्ज बिहारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा श्रील प्रभुपदा। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक शुद्ध सदस्य श्रीमती स्वयं श्री भक्तिवेदांत शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन संस्थापक जय शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक शुद्ध सदस्य श्रीमती स्वयं शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत शास्त्री गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद श्री गौर किशोरदास महाराज की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद सच्चिदानंद शिल भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास महाराज की जय। जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। नमः दास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम श्री गौरी कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर श्री साधे गौर भक्तविंद की जय, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण को अपना श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, श्री मायापुर धाम की जय, श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय, गंगा मई की जय, यमुना की जय, भक्ति देव की, तुलसी देव की जय, आनंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्री हरनाम संकीर्तन की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, इस्कॉन भक्तमाला गुरुवंद की समाप्त भक्तों की गौरव प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल. All glories to the assembly. So all glories to the assembly. All glories to the assembly. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All goes to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamutire. Ishtaprayeshu Patreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhagavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna, welcome you all to the Saturday morning Srimad Bhagavatam summary study. Today we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 26, chapter entitled Hellish Planets. I will read wherever sloka is possible, but I have 10 slokas to be discussed today of this chapter. We'll try to do as much as whatever is possible. Text number 1. Rajovacha Maharsha etat vaichit prem lokasya katam iti. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्नलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च. श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं श्रीगुरुं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे दावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसेवी वरमामि हरिप्रिय वांछकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत श्री साधु गौर भक्त हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. मोहम करोति वाचनं पंकं नंदयति कृपादं महं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवं परमानन्दमाधवं श्री चैतन्य. Hare Krishna. So far, in the various chapters of this canto, speakers have been speaking on different parts of creation, like the description of Jambudvipa, the descent of Ganges, the movement of the sun, the subterranean Hellenic planets, and so forth. And now, finally, come to the last part of the creation, that is the hellish planets. And with this, we'll come to the end of this fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the first sloka, Sukadeva Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukadeva Goswami, his translation. King Parikshit inquired from Sukadeva Goswami, "My dear sir, why are the living entities put into different material situations? Kindly explain this to me." So Parikshit Maharaj is asking a question, why are the living entities put into different planetary systems? Why there are different variations in planetary systems? Because each and every planet has got a different system. Some are on the higher planets, some on the lower planets, and why some are auspicious, and why some are inauspicious. And then he also asked, why do these planets exist? Then, just to give a brief introduction, we are all aware that there are billions of universes that come out of the exhaling of Sri Mahavishnu, who is lying on the down on the Karna Ocean. And it is said that our universe is the smallest, and there are billions of planets, stars in each and universe, and in each, there are countless number of universe, there are countless number of planets and stars, of which also we are one of the smallest. We have discussed the sizes, distances, and so forth in the previous verses. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur explains that these different hellish planets within the universe are held slightly above the Garbhodaka ocean and remain situated there. So this chapter basically going to describe how sinful persons go to these hellish planets and how they are punished there by the assistance of Yamaraja. So different living entities have different features by which they are given bodies, and they enjoy or suffer based on the reactions that they have got based on their past karma. So we'll go on from set text number 2. Rishi Ruvacha, translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. most of the verses are prose type, wherever possible, I'll read. Uh, the great sage Sukadeva Goswami said, "My dear king, in this material world, there are three kinds of activities: those in the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of ignorance. Because all people are influenced by the three modes of material nature, the results of their activities are also divided into three. One who acts in the mode of goodness is religious and happy. One who acts in the mode of in passion achieves mixed misery and happiness. And one who acts under the influence of ignorance is always unhappy and lives like an animal. Because of the varying degrees to which living entities are influenced by the different modes of nature, their destinations are also of different varieties. From here onwards, Srila Sukadeva Goswami starts to explain about how activities are performed by the living entities in the three gunas. Actually, the whole material world is conducted by three modes of material world, material nature, which we all know. That is Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. And the living entities perform activities in these three gunas. And based on that, various destinations have been created. Lord Krishna also says to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita 14:18, Udam gachanti sattvasta matyesti tishtanti rajasaha jaganya gunavrittista ado gachanti tamasaha. So those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live in the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. There are a lot of details in this also. We'll go to it one after the other. So one performs actions in the modes of material nature. Accordingly, the planetary systems also created. Those who are pious souls, they go to the upper planetary system. Urdhva means higher species of life. So, according to the degree of development of the mode of the mode of goodness, the living entity can be transferred to various planets in the system also. So there are many planets in the upper planetary system that also we have discussed. The highest planet is Satyaloka or Brahmaloka, where the prime person of this universe, Lord Brahma, resides. The highest kind of goodness brings one to this planet. So all the modes are not completely in one situation. It is always mixed. But the highest stage of mode of goodness, one who reaches this, can attain Brahmaloka where Lord Brahma resides. There is also a quote in Srimad Bhagavatam where it is mentioned that uh, one who lives as per Varnashrama system for 100 years, he becomes eligible to go to Brahmaloka. This is also a quote from Srimad Bhagavatam. So then the next is the mode of passion is in between the mode of goodness and ignorance. A person in the mode of passion will have to remain on these earthly planets. And because there are mixtures, one can also go down from this stage. So people in the mode of passion or ignorance cannot forcibly go to the higher planets. In the mode of passion, one may remain in earth or even go down in the next life. And lastly, there is the lowest mode is the mode of ignorance, which is the most abominable. The result of developing ignorance is very, very risky. So it is the lowest quality in material nature. Beneath the human level, there are 8 million species of life, birds, beasts, reptiles, trees, etc. And according to the development of the mode of ignorance, people are brought down to these abominable conditions. So Tamasa indicate that those who stay continuously in the mode of ignorance without rising to a higher mode, their future is also very, very dark. So there is an opportunity for men in the modes of ignorance and passion to be elevated to the mode of goodness. And that system is what is called design, that is Krishna consciousness. So with association of devotees of Krishna, one can elevate themselves gradually to the higher modes stage by stage. And one who does not take advantage of this opportunity will definitely continue to be in the lower modes. So based on one's karma, one's destinations are given. And we see that lower planets of life in the earthly planet also. So we see that even in the earthly planet, there are different lower species of life. For example, pigs are there, snakes are there. They are all in the mode of ignorance. So one can attain lower species of life in the earthly planets also, and one can attain these in the lower planets also. And the earthly planet, we also see auspicious things like various types of plants, like tulsi, which is very auspicious. At the same time, we see lower species of plants like cactus, etc. So there are different categories. But those who are predominantly tamasic, they go to hellish planets, which we are going to discuss one after the other. Now it is said that there are three different types of faith by which one is identified. Those who have faith in karma are called karma shraddha. That means those who believe in fruitive activities, they are called karma shraddha. Shraddha is faith. Those who have faith in jnana are called jnana shraddha. And those who have faith in bhakti are called bhakti shraddha. So based on one's desire to involve in fruitive activities or speculative knowledge, or bhakti, one's shraddha is developed. Now, also, no one is situated always in sattva or rajas or tamas. For example, Indra had to come to the earthly planet in the form of a hawk, and then he had to go back. There is another example in Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, where it is given as to how Soma, the moon god, he kidnapped Tara, the wife of Brihaspati, who was the spiritual master, and he did not return Tara. Because of that, there was a great battle between demigods and the demons. So there was an enmity already between Shukracharya and Brihaspati. Shukracharya took the side of moon god and was joined by the demons. And Shiva, Lord Shiva joined the side of Brihaspati as he was the spiritual master. Indra joined the demigods. So there was a great battle between demigods and the demon due to Tara, which was Brihaspati's wife. Then Lord Brahma intervened and he took Tara and gave her back to Brihaspati. By then she was already pregnant from Soma. And then she got a son. And again there was a battle between Soma and Brihaspati for the child who was born from Tara. So the point is that one does not remain always in heavenly planets. One does not always remain in hellish planets. And it is not that one who is remaining always in hellish planets is always in a peaceful state. There are a lot of issues even in the heavenly planets. And there's one example which I mentioned about. There are many examples like that in Srimad Bhagavatam. Then we go to sloka number 3. The translation says, just by executing various pious activities, one achieves different positions in heavenly life. By acting impiously, one achieves different positions in hellish life. Those who are activated by the material mode of ignorance engage in impious activities. And according to the extent of their ignorance, they are placed in different grades of hellish life. If one acts in the mode of ignorance because of madness, his resulting misery is the least severe. One who acts impiously but knows the distinction between the pious and impious activities is placed in a hell of intermediate severity. And for one who acts impiously and ignorantly, because of atheism, the resultant hellish life is the worst. Because of ignorance, every living entity has been carried by various desires into thousands of different hellish planets since time immemorial. I shall try to describe them as far as possible. So this verse has got a lot of important points which we'll go through. Just as by executing pious activities, one goes to different heavenly planets, by acting impiously, one can also achieve different positions in hellish planets also. How these are achieved based on one's more level of mode of ignorance is explained in this verse. That means even in mode of ignorance, there are different levels. The first one is those who are activated by the material mode of ignorance engage in impious activities. And according to the extent of their ignorance, they are placed in different grades of hellish life. Now, if one acts in the mode of ignorance because of madness, his resulting misery is the least severe. That means though many people perform impious activities out of ignorance. Mode of ignorance itself is ignorant, but within the mode of ignorance, he is not aware of anything, so he performs impious activities. and the result is not as severe as the others. This is the first category. The second category is one who acts impiously but knows the distinction between pious and impious activities. He is placed in a hell of intermediate severity, which means that a person is in knowledge of that this is a pious activity and this is an impious activity, but still continues to perform impious activities. He is placed in a hell of intermediate severity. So in hellish planets also, there is less severe, which we've discussed before. The next comes the intermediate severity for those who knows that yes, this is pious, but and this is impious, but still perform impious activity. And the last one is for one who acts impiously and ignorantly because of atheism, the resultant hellish life is the worst. And because of ignorance, every living entity has been carried by various desires into thousands of different hellish planets since time immemorial. And I shall try to describe them as far as possible. So, the third category, they know that they're performing impious and they're atheistic, they don't believe in God. So, the result of hellish life is the worst, and it is the severity is also worse. So, based on the level of ignorance, different living entities are placed in different hellish planets which are in thousands and thousands. And this has been going on from time immemorial. Now, it is said that the ignorance is beginningless. That means no one knows when we came into ignorance. And the jivas, out of ignorance, have been rotating all over the planetary system, from the hellish planets to earthly planets to the higher planets and so forth, from hellish planets to lower planets, and so far the jivas have been rotating. And based on the desires of the living entities, the Lord has created all these hellish planets. Basically, it is our desire that we have. Based on that desire, we perform activities. So, it is summarized as karma results in suffering in the material world. When one understands these intricacies, then he becomes detached from this material world. This will give impetus to do bhakti with more detachment. Then one becomes performs bhakti with little more emergency. So, by performance of dharma, one goes to higher planets. By performance of adharma, which is vikarma, one goes to hellish planets. Now, by performance of adharma without knowledge, there is a certain amount of tamas. But performing sin with knowledge, there is a greater amount of tamas. And by performance of sin with complete rejection of God is called fully tamas. So punishment is also the greatest. Now, it is not possible to ascertain when the jiva has got into tamas. That's why it is said beginningless. So based on the different levels of activities, based on different types of ignorance, one is placed in different hellish planets. This is the first categorization uh, that is explained by Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Text number 4. राजोवाच नरका नाम भगवान् किं देशविशेष अथवा बहिस्त्रिलोक्य आहोस्वित् अंतराल इति. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. King Parishit inquired from Sukadeva Goswami, my dear Lord, are the hellish regions outside the universe, within the covering of the universe, or in different places of this planet? So here Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring whether these hellish planets are situated outside of the universe or within the universe, or where is it situated? This is how he posed the question. Here also there is no purport, so we'll go to text number 5. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The great sage Sukadeva Goswami answered, all the hellish planets are situated in the intermediate space between the three worlds and the Garbhodaka ocean. They lie on the southern side of the universe, beneath Bhumandala, and slightly above the water of the Garbhodaka ocean. Pitraloka is also located in this region between the Garbhodaka ocean and the lower planetary systems. All the residents of Pitraloka, headed by Agnishwata, meditate in great samadhi on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always wish their families well. There are a lot of important points in this purport. We'll discuss this each one by one. So all the hellish planets are situated actually, since already some devotees presenting this in the computer in some format, I strongly recommend to the coordinator, who also may please note, because there are certain things I may explain, but it is better understood when there is a photograph. And Pavaneshwar Prabhu has given all this in a Bhagavata Subodhini. So somebody can take a photograph and present it in future. It will help the audience also. It's just my realization, because the descriptions which we have discussed before also in terms of yojanas, where they are placed is slightly confusing. Everybody may not be able to understand it. So these hellish planets are situated in the space between the three worlds and the Garbhodaka ocean. So we know that there is a Garbhodaka ocean, and above that there is a space. Above that are the three worlds. So the hellish planets are on the southern side of the universe, beneath Bhumandala and slightly above the water of Garbhodaka Ocean. In this is also Pitraloka, which is located in this region between Garbhodaka Ocean and uh, the lower planetary system. So all the residents headed by Pitraloka had Apnishvata. They all meditate in great samadhi on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always remain their family. So there are seven lower planetary systems, and the lowest of which is called Patala Loka. Beneath Patala Loka are other planets known as Naraka Loka, or the hellish planets. At the bottom of the universe lies the Garbhodaka ocean. Therefore, the hellish planets lie between Patala Loka and the Garbhodaka ocean. So, there are seven hellish planets. Above that is the Bhumandala. So, the space between Garbhodaka ocean and the Bhumandala, that is where the hellish planets are situated. That is the same place in which Pitraloka also is there, where there are different categories of living entities. Text number 6. I hope, okay, yeah, okay. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The king of the Pitas is Yamaraja, the very powerful son of Sun God. He resides in Pitraloka with his personal assistants, and while abiding by the rules and regulations set down by the Supreme Lord, as his agents, the Yamadutas, bring all the sinful men to him immediately upon their death. After bringing them within his jurisdiction, he properly judges them according to their specific sinful activities and sends them to one of the many hellish planets for suitable punishment. So we'll take some time in understanding this sloka. It's okay. Yeah. So the king of the Pitar lokas is Yamaraj, which we know. He's a very powerful son of sun god. And he resides in Pitraloka along with his assistants who are called Yamadutas. And who strictly, the Yamadutas also, Yamaraj and the Yamadutas, they all strictly abide by the rules and regulations set down by the Supreme Lord. After death, the Yamadutas bring all the sinful men to him, to Yamaraj, immediately after their death. So Yamaraj is a person who can see what is the past, present, and the future of every living entity. He is a Mahajan. He's a very great devotee of Lord Krishna. And he sees what Krishna sees, because Krishna is situated in his heart as a super soul, and Krishna is situated as a super soul in everyone's heart also. So that's why Yamaraj can see whatever Krishna can see. That is why he's a very powerful personality among the demigods also. So Yamaraj, basically, he knows, that is the reason he knows the past, present, and future of every living entity also. So Yamaraj judges all of one's activities, and he controls all living entities, and the Supreme Lord controls Yamaraj. Now, Yamaraj cannot touch the devotees of the Lord, but we will come to understand of this point a little later. If possible, I may touch, but then other speakers will touch on this. Now, after they come to Yamaraj jurisdiction, he properly judges them according to their specific sinful activities. And accordingly, he sends them to one of the many hellish planets are there. So Yamaraj is not a fictitious person or a mythological character, and his abode is Pitraloka. Many times people say they don't believe in hell also. For them, the severity is much more. But Sukadeva Goswami confirmed that the existence of the Naraka planets, which is that between Garbhodaka ocean and Patalaloka. So Yamaraj is also appointed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to see that the human beings do not violate his rules and regulations. So the the laws of the Lord are given by the Lord himself, which is also there in the sixth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Dharmam tu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. And based on that, Yamaraj ensures that justice is given to all the living entities. The Papa Srila Prabhupada mentions about Bhagavad Gita 4.17, Karmano hi api bodhavyam cha vikarmanha, akarmascha bodhavyam gahana karmano kati. So the intricacies of action are very hard to understand. So one should know what properly action is, what forbidden action is, what inaction is. So I mentioned that some time back that one should know what is karma. Karma is fruitive activities and what is the result out of that. One should know what is akarma. That is, akarma is one which does not have any reactions. That is, activities performed for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And one is vikarma, which is prohibited actions. And one must know all this and then must act accordingly. So that is the law of the personality of Godhead. The conditioned souls who come to this material world for sense gratification are allowed to enjoy their senses under certain regulative principles. So we all have desires for sense gratification, to enjoy sense gratification. Accordingly, the Lord has provided facilities for us to enjoy. But he has also given stipulations in for living entities to enjoy up to under certain regulative principles. If they are violated, then they are judged accordingly and punished by Yamaraj. So those who are prone to conduct sinful activity, they are brought to hellish planets. And there Yamaraj properly chastises them. The purpose of chastisement is to bring them back to Krishna consciousness. So chastisement is also for the benefit of the living entity. But what happens is that by the influence of Maya, however, the conditioned souls remain infatuated with the mode of ignorance. So one goes through punishment in the hellish planets, which is also to refine the living entity. But the influence of Maya is so powerful that one forgets what he has gone through and continues to be situated in the mode of ignorance. So the Lord has provided the facility for both. So if one wants to continue and remain in ignorance, he can continue so. And the Lord has also facilitated for one to refine themselves. I'll come to that through this in a little later. So in spite of repeated punishment by Yamaraj, many don't come to their senses, but continue to live with material condition, committing sinful activities again and again. So that means living entities continue to perform sinful activities again and again, even though they are punished by Yamaraj in the hellish planets. So Yamaraj is like a jailer and he has to act according to the laws of God. And he takes care of those who don't follow the laws of the Lord. It is said that even when on way to the abode of Yamaraj, one has to go through a very long path, which is millions of kilometers. So the moment the soul leaves the body from the earthly planet and on way to Yamaraj's planet itself, it is said that one has to go through a lot of suffering in the form of one is that the Yamadutas are there always standing with burning hot rods, which are like copper rods, which are literally burning, and the living entity is beaten for millions of kilometers until he reaches Yamaloka. That means the punishment starts all the way the moment the living entity leaves the body. But the living entity has got the subtle body, the mind, intelligence, and false ego. So he has got to undergo this pain also. Next to Yamaraj is Chitragupta, who has all the records of all the souls. So it is said that in hellish planets also, there are different planets for different diseases. For example, somebody develops fever, somebody develops indigestion, somebody develops headache, somebody develops typhoid. So for all these diseases also, they have their respective places in Yamaloka. So when the soul reaches Yamaraj, he goes with all the good and bad deeds, and Yamaraj rewards and punishes a living entity accordingly. So he strictly follows the laws of the Lord. He doesn't bypass. So it is said that seeing Yamaraj holding a hot iron rod itself, the living entity is very scared. And he is beaten left and right. He is boiled in oil. He is broken into pieces. And a living entity thus goes through a lot of pain all the way from here to the hellish planets and in hell also. So it is said that he suffers there a lot, and a day in hell is equal to 100 years of mortal life. So that is how the long span is there, and one has to go through a lot of suffering through all these years. So when a living entity goes to suffering, he comes back, he realizes that he has gone through suffering. And then some of them, they start to think how to mitigate the suffering. So punishment in hell is also beneficial for the living entity. And hell is created by the Lord for correction of the living entities. So the Manus have give the laws of the Lord, and that is what is called Manusmriti. But Srila Prabhupada clearly said that there is no need for us to go through Manusmriti, but a lot of them have been given in Haribhakta Vilas, which Srila Prabhupada has given in Srimad Bhagavatam, the literatures. Srila Prabhupada always said that itself is enough, so there is no need for us to specially read Manusmriti and so forth. Nevertheless, we'll understand see, a gist of what they are. So it is said that punishment takes place in two tiers. That means one is of hellish one goes through suffering in the hellish planets already. When one reaches hell, he goes to the punishment in hellish planets, which Yamaraj awards. And the other one, it's the second level of punishment is when they are sent back to earthly planets, also they have to go through sufferings. See, many times we see that uh, we may be having a lot of suffering as human beings in these earthly planets also. Other than that, also there are so many living entities which I mentioned who are there in the earthly planets also. Uh, for example, trees. Trees go through a lot of suffering. They are situated in one place. They are bitten by the worms in the roots and so forth. But it stands still. It's a sort of a suffering. So that living entity has already undergone punishment in hell. And after coming back to the earthly planets also, they are going through hell. So this is a two-tier punishment, which I came to know this while I was discussing this chapter. So this is a two-tier punishment. Many times it is said that when we approach somebody, they say, we also try to preach as that's what the Srila Prabhupada wants us. And we might have also responded by the way many souls respond. So when somebody says that please come attend our program, Krishna Conscious program, they say, no, I will not come now. Let Krishna, the day Krishna asks me to come, I will come. And some might say that whatever has happened in my life is basically whatever I'm doing is inspired by Krishna. So if I'm not coming, that is also given inspired by Krishna. So like that, so many reasons are given. And there is a story that is given to give this analogy, which I will describe shortly. It is said that there was a flood in a village and the water was coming, devastating water was coming. So there was a man who was there. The villagers were all escaping, and they told the man that you please come. And the man said, no, I will come when Krishna comes to me and he will rescue me. He didn't go. Thereafter, a boat came with many villagers, and they all said, please come, we will take you in the boat and we'll rescue you. He said, no, I will not come. I will stay here and I will come when Krishna inspires me to come. Then it is said that finally the people sent a helicopter with a rope, and those in the helicopter said, "You please hold this rope, and we will rescue you." This person said that, "No, I will not come till Krishna asks me to come." This way it happened. Finally, the person died. And it is said that finally this man left his body and he met Krishna and he asked Krishna, "Why did you not rescue me?" Krishna said, "I came to you 3 times and you didn't heed to my request." That means the point was that Krishna did not come personally, but Krishna sent people for him to be rescued, but he did not heed to his request. So the same thing also happens when we go out to preach, many people respond. And so this is what is called ignorance. And many times people may be aware of the ignorance, but then still they act impulsively. That is where this punishment is severe. So by punishment, one is brought closer to Krishna. So it is said that for Vaishnavas, the system is already drawn for them to bring closer to Krishna. Not everyone, but the facility is there, but not everyone uh, 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 make use of the opportunity. And not that everyone who comes out of hell, that he becomes a devotee. So both the things are there. So it is said that the Vaishnavas have to sow the seed of devotion, and that is how then one's Sukriti starts. It is also said that when Krishna and Arjuna went through the hellish planets to retrieve the sons of Santipani Muni, on way, there were many living entities. All their sufferings were mitigated because Krishna and Arjuna passed by that way. So a presence of a great devotee makes a lot of difference. Another small story for Yamaraj. It is said that a person who was committing sinful activities heard about Yamaraj, and then he said that I will apply stool in my body before I leave so that Yamaraj won't approach me. So when he was going to die, he thought that Yamaraj will not come. But Yamaraj was a much smarter person. He brought a hog along with him who did the job of eating the stool on his body. And finally, Yamaraj punished him. So this is what we cannot escape the laws of the Lord, which Yamaraj gives. Now, text number 7. Some authorities say there is a total of 21 hellish planets. Some say 28. My dear king, I shall outline all of them according to their names, forms, and symptoms. The names of the different hells are as follows: Tamisra, Anda Tamisra, Raurava, Maharaurava, Kumbhipaka, Kalasutra, Asipatravana, Shukramukha, Andakupa, Krimibhojana, Sandamsha, Taptasurmi, Vajrakantaka Shalmali, Shalmali, Vaitarani, Puyoda, Pranaroda, Vishashana, Lala Bhaksha, Sarameyadana, Avichi, Ayappana, Sharakardama, Rakshogana Bhojana, Sulaprota Dandasuka, Avata Nirodhana, Paryavartana, and Shuchimukha. All these planets are meant for punishing the living entity. So these are 28 planets that are given. Text number 28. In most of them, there is no purport, so I'm not going to all of them. Translation Srila Prabhupada feature. My dear king, a person who appropriates another's legitimate wife, children, or money is arrested at the time of death by the fierce Yamadutas, who bind him with the rope of time and forcibly throw him into the hellish planet known as Tamisra. On this very dark planet, the sinful man is chastised by the Yamadutas, who beat and rebuke him. He is starved and he is given no water to drink. Thus, the wrathful assistants of Yamaraj cause him severe suffering, and sometimes he faints from their chastisement. So, Parikshit, Sukadev Goswami tries to explain here that one who appropriates one who misuses another's legitimate wife, children, or money is arrested at the time of death by the fierce Yamadutas, who bind him with ropes of time and forcibly throw him into the hellish planets of Tamisra. So this is various hellish planets are described here. And the first one starts with this Tamishra hellish planet, where living entities who we see even on a day-to-day basis, so many cases of kidnapping, exploiting somebody else's wife, somebody else's children. We see children who are begging in the street. Sometimes they are stolen and forcibly taken. Sometimes we see that many children are sold. Then we see that many people misappropriate others' money. This is one thing we see very regularly. And people tend to cheat others, which is very common, particularly for money. Such people are bound by a rope of time and they are taken and brought to this planet called Tamisra. So on this planet, the sinful man is chastised by the Yamadutas who beat him and rebuke him. He is starved and he is given no water to drink. That means while living itself, there is suffering is more. Then he is brought to this hellish planet where he is starved and then he is given no water to drink. And then the Yamadutas keep beating him and rebuke him. Thus, the wrathful assistant Jagannath cause him severe suffering, and sometimes he faints from this chastisement. So the punishment is so severe that the person sometimes faints from this. So this is required. This is a punishment that is given to those who indulge in this type of activities. Now, there is also a point that I'll come to this a little later. So for those in the human form of life, it is necessary to understand that one has to go through a lot of suffering. And also one can get a hellish body to undergo severe suffering. And there's one or two points which I'll come to at the end of the class. Text number 9, there's no purport. The destination of a person who slyly cheats another man and enjoys his wife and children is the hell known as Andatamisra. There his condition is exactly like that of a tree being chopped at its roots. Even before reaching Andatamisra, the sinful living entity is subjected to various extreme miseries. These afflictions are so severe that he loses his intelligence and sight. It is for this reason that learned sages call this hell Andatamisra. So this is a place where also there is a different type of a punishment where a person knows that he is doing it. In the first category, the sinner performs the act straightforward. While in the next one, that is in this Andatta Misra, he acts very cunningly. That means the first category, that is the last category we described in Sloka 8, where he is doing this straightforward. But in this Sloka 9, those who go to Andatta Misra, they perform the same activities of cheating somebody else's man or his children. And they do it in a very cunning manner. We see many people talk very politely and sweetly, but they perform all these activities. So those type of people are sent to this Andatamisra, where he go through some extreme miseries. And it is so severe that he loses his intelligence, he loses his sight. This is sloka number 9. Then there is no purport in this also. Sloka number 10. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A person who accepts his body as his self works very hard day and night for money to maintain his own body and bodies of his wife and children. While working to maintain himself and his family, he may commit violence against other living entities. Such a person is forced to give up his body and his family at the time of death, when he suffers the reaction for his envy of other creatures by being thrown into the hell called Raurava. So we'll come to understand this a little more. Some important points are given. So mostly we see that people work very hard day and night to get money. Now, one is that one is not supposed to work very hard. Srila Prabhupada says that one should work only as much as to keep one's body and soul together. But we see that people ignore this and they continue to work very hard day and night. And in the process, what happens? For that, maintaining their body and the bodies of his wife and children, and in the process to get money, they slog a lot. This is one. While working to maintain himself and his family, he may commit violence against other living entities. So, in the process of performing one's duty to maintain himself and his family, one may be forced to commit violence on other living entities. Such a person is forced to give up his body and his family at the time of death. Now, we see that on a day to day basis also. Uh, I don't remember anything as such of having seen now, but day to day basis, we see that many people are separated from their families. They may staying in the same place, same city, everywhere, but they are separated from their family because they have performed sinful activities. They have rather committed violence against other living entities to maintain themselves and their family. So these people are separated and they are forced to give up their body and their family at the time of death. And there he suffers the reactions. And also the third category is many people perform these activities to maintain themselves, and also they have envy for other living entities. And those personalities are brought to this place called hell, called Raurava. So Srila Prabhupada gives a quote in this verse about a very popular verse and from Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, Yasyatma buddhi punapeti daduke shati kalatradishu bhauma ijeti yattirtha buddhi salile nakarhichit janesha vitnesha saeva kokara. Translation is, one who accepts his body as a bag of three elements, bile, mucus, and air, as his self, who has an affinity for an intimate relationship with his wife and children. That means we know that this body is made of bile, mucus, and air. And one who understands this and still continues to have intimate relationship with wife and children, number one category. Second category is one who considers his land worshipable, who takes bath. That means people say, I'm an Indian, I'm an American, I'm a European, second category. One who considers his land as worshipable, one who takes bath in the waters of the holy place of pilgrimage, but never takes advantage of those persons who are in actual knowledge. Many people uh, go and take bath in Ganga, Yamuna, etc., but they don't want to hear about the glories of the Lord. Such people, this sloka say, they are no better than an ass or a cow. So the point is that those who are in human form of life and still exhibit animalistic propensities, they are not less than an ass or a cow. So there are two classes of men absorbed in material concept of life. One is out of ignorance. A man may think that his body to be self, and therefore he's considered like an animal, say, go karaha. Second is, however, the one who not only thinks his material body to be his self, but also commits all kinds of sinful activities to maintain his body. The one. So he cheats everyone to acquire money for his family and his self, and he becomes envious of others without reason. Such a person is thrown into the hell known as so. With this, one example is people form associations. They There are certain people who cheat people in the form of giving them flats, and then they don't give the flat. They take the money and they run away. Some news I have seen, they have gone to places abroad and they have been ultimately caught. So that is a punishment that is given. And again, for such people who cheat others to maintain their family, they are thrown into this hell called Raurava. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura says that although animals are certainly in the bodily concept of life, they do not commit any sins to maintain their bodies. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura says that though animals are in the lower species of life, they are not, they may be performing bodily activity, but they do not commit sin to maintain their bodies or offspring. Therefore, animals do not go to hell. So this is a difference between man and animal. However, when a human being acts enviously and cheats others to maintain his body, he is put into a hellish condition. So this is the third category of people. For third, now before I wind up the class, there is a gist from Garuda Purana which I got. I'll speak this for the next 5 or 10 minutes. One who lies will have a stammering voice or will be dumb. That means many people who speak lies, they have to become dumb in the next life, or they may be having a stammering voice. Now, we see that many people are not able to speak properly. They may have stammering. So the result is that they have been speaking lies in the previous life. This is a summary which may not be there, maybe there, I don't know. But Srila Prabhupada has given a gist. I'm just giving a gist of this. One who indulges in a bad association will be born in a low family. That means one who gets association of bad association, he will be born in a low family. If a Brahmana performs sacrifices in a Shudra's house, he has to take birth as a pig. Now, these are all given in Garuda Purana. We don't have to go through Garuda Purana to understand this. Srila Prabhupada said that you go through whatever Srimad Bhagavatam I have given, that is in a nutshell. So Brahmanas are not supposed to perform sacrifices in a Sudra's house. If he does so, he has to take birth as a pig. Then the next one is if one eats indiscriminately, he becomes a tiger. Because a tiger has no distinction, it eats and by killing animals. So if one is eating indiscriminately, whatever he wants from outside here, wherever he wants, he becomes a tiger. One who offers stale food to a Brahmin will become a hunchback. That means if a Brahmana is coming and if somebody offers a stale food, he will become a hunchback in the next birth. One who is malicious and who attracts others' wives will become a blind man. Those who try to cheat others' wives will become blind. One who steals fruit becomes a monkey. One who takes food offered unwillingly will also become a monkey. That means there are many, you might come across somebody who might not want to give something to you, but still unhesitatingly he offers and you accept it, you can become a monkey. One who steals chickpeas becomes a rat. One who rapes a minor girl becomes a serpent. One who deceives a woman becomes an owl. One who promises a donation and does not honor becomes a jackal. See, many times we may approach people for donation. They may make a promise, but if they fail to honor their promises, they become a jackal. One who maintains a family by performing deity worship becomes a chandala. So this is an important point that everyone should note. People perform deity worship and take money in return. Such people have become a chandala. So that is why it is said, Srila Prabhupada gave a specific point on this. We need to have unpaid brahmanas for deity worship, not paid brahmanas. If someone had illicit sex with a virgin girl or animal, he gets diabetes. Greed, anger, and envy, they speed up a soul closer to sorrow and then death. So if one is greedy, one is very, very angry, and one is envious, it's a clear path that he will come closer to death. And until that, he will have a lot of sorrow, and then he becomes closer to death. Bhagavad Gita also explains about how lust, uh, when it is not satisfied, it leads to anger. And when it is satisfied, it leads to greedy. So lust, anger, greed, and this envy is also there. Also, there's a point mentioned that greed, mama means mine, which will take us to death early. And na mama means going to the path of liberation. That means those who think mine, I and mine, for them death is much faster. And those who say na mama, it does not belong to mine, they go to the path of liberation. So as long as we possess something, it becomes a cause of sorrow. An example is in Mahabharata itself. Dhritarashtra had a lot of affection for his son, and he had to go through a lot of suffering. And not only that, it is said when Duryodhana was born, there were a lot of inauspicious signs, and Vidura pointed out that he should not be uh, allowed to live. And the result was that because of Duryodhana, the entire dynasty was wiped out. It is said that 64 crores of people were killed in Mahabharata. So one should give up affection for all family members. A very important point. Another important point is that one can become a Brahma Rakshasa by committing sinful activities in the name of temple. Uh, we see that lot of scandals are there these days, definitely in temples also, where people indulge in taking away the money of the Lord, money of the temple, etc., money of the pujaris and so forth. For them, the punishment is they can become a Brahma Rakshasa for committing such activities. Uh, the next point is there is a point in Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto itself where Bali Maharaj, not 7th canto, 8th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, where when Shukracharya persuades Bali Maharaj not to surrender his what the Lord appeared as Vamanadeva asked for, Bali Maharaj replies to Shukracharya, Mother Earth can carry any amount of weight. We see the Earth planet has got so many vehicles, so many living entities. It can bear any amount of weight, but she cannot bear the weight of one lie. The point is that we speak so many people, we see people speak so many lies. The point is that that is why Srila Prabhupada said that we don't have to go through Manusmriti. He has given this in Srimad Bhagavatam itself. And one way to come out of all these things is that get somehow devotee association, which can give a path of liberation. Karma results in next body. Vikarma results in one's next body with suffering. Akarma does not produce one's next body. So those who have wasted the human form of life go to hell. One who is not satisfied and is selfish go to hell. But one who is satisfied and who serves Vaishnavas and Brahmanas don't go to hell. So that is why it is said that it is very important for the elders to teach the children on the various aspects that we have discussed, so that people know the intricacies of these various sinful activities. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a quote that if one is following the four regulative principles, then it is to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Before I wind up the class, I have 2 points. Devotees don't come under this purview of whatever we have discussed. Devotees are taken care of by the Lord directly. But then still, the point is that after knowing this, if somebody commits, the punishment that a devotee undergoes to also is very severe. That's why even in chanting of the holy name, we read the 10 offenses. Similarly, after knowing all the importance, the understanding the importance of the sinful activities, one should not perform sinful activities. Also, it is said that those who have chanted the name of the Lord, those who are regularly engaged in devotion service to the Lord of hearing and speak, Shravanam and Kirtanam, they are not come under the jurisdiction of Yamaraj. But nevertheless, I said that one should not perform this intentionally. That is all. With this, I conclude the class because I had only 10 slokas. I had limited points and no purport to cover. I've covered whatever was possible. With this, I conclude the class for the day. If anybody has got any questions or any comments, you have 10 minutes, you can ask me.